Guadalajara, a city you don't hear much about, and if you do, it's probably nothing positive.
What?
This was the place that I was most apprehensive about coming to, but I just spent 5 days here, and out of all the places that I went to in Mexico, this was my favorite by far. Guadalajara surprised me. In this video, we're going to explore the many different sides of Guadalajara, including the beautiful historical district and other trendy neighborhoods. And we're going to get into why I think this is one of the most underrated cities in Mexico. Now, when you're in that taxi ride from the airport and you're staring out that window, the first thing you're probably thinking is, oh, there's some serious business happening out here. You'll see some very traditional Latin America style streets, and if you're not used to it, yeah, it's a little bit different. Some of these places can seem a bit dodgy, but honestly, that's just how the streets in Mexico look. I'm gonna do a full breakdown on safety at the end of this video. Now, when you step foot into the historical district, it's like entering into a completely different country. So we made it out here finally in the center of Guadalajara. It's Palacio de la Liberación. And this is the place where everybody goes, right here. Nothing looks even remotely similar to your average side street in the residential area. The first place I ended up was the Plaza de la Liberación. There are a ton of tourists out here, and they decided to throw a giant pink Guadalajara sign in front of all of the old historical buildings, which is quite the contrast. Not a subtle choice at all. Not sure how I feel about that one. This is where all the walking tours meet up in the morning, and me and some other backpackers that I met at my hostel decided to start our morning with one of those. There's no shortage of cool things to see in this area, with lots of museums, architecture, cathedrals, and street performers. This is where all the major events in the city go down. We ended the tour at one of the largest markets in Latin America. It's called Mercado Libertad, or San Juan de Dios Market. This thing is over 40,000 square meters. It's an absolute labyrinth, offering all the goods you could possibly imagine. Not those ones though, chill. Now let's get into more of the everyday life in Guadalajara, I'm much more passionate about this part of the video. I stayed in Colonia Americana neighborhood, known for being very safe, having lots of cafes and restaurants with a bit of an artistic vibe. All the essentials you need are within walking distance, and it's about a 30-minute walk from where we just explored in the central district. Not bad at all. When I was walking down certain streets out here, it felt like I was back in Toronto in the summertime. I mean, there's a ton of cafes and bars everywhere you look, with different vibes and prices. If you go a little west to a street called Chapultepec, this is where you're gonna find the nightlife happening. Nightclubs, bars, and tons of food are all right here. I had a local bring me to this bar with a hidden bookshelf door. Like you going to Hogwarts, but you going to get down, bruh. On a side note, it seems like this particular city is really into EDM for some reason. I heard house music everywhere, and also Darude. It seems like this city is really blowing up. Let's touch on one of the main topics of this city, which everybody I'm sure is wondering about: safety. Did I feel safe? Yes. Did I go to places I wasn't supposed to go? No. So during the day, I felt 100% safe at all times in the central area and other surrounding neighborhoods. I had actually walked to and from the central district multiple times. One time to get on a bus to go to Chapala with gringo shorts and a gringo shirt on, which I don't recommend, by the way. Always wear pants in Latin America if you can bear it. Now, I was walking around Americana at very late hours of the night, and I did not have any issues, but I had local support guiding me, saying don't go to this place, go to this place, so that definitely helps. This being Mexico, we gotta keep it real. I had a local tell me that she had been robbed walking down the street in Americana, and she knew many people with the same story. It's very rare, but it happens, and you always have to be on the lookout, especially with guys on motorbikes and Ubers. Guadalajara has particularly had a problem with fake Uber pickups. Basically, These guys wait outside the club and act like an Uber, and drunk people just kind of get in without checking, and then boom, kidnapped and never seen again. Aside from those rare cases, I think Uber is completely safe and doable. I took it the entire time that I was here. But before I step foot in that car, it's a para quien. Every single time, I'm triple checking that plate number. Affordability. So how expensive is it in Guadalajara? In terms of Mexico, I think this was the most affordable city that I went to in Mexico. I paid under 20 bucks a night to stay in some really nice hostels. And by the way, go check out my video where I reviewed the best hostels in Guadalajara after this. Okay guys, so listen to this, right? If we take a look on Airbnb right now, I mean, just look at this. I have the filter set to entire home, not shared. Let's look through some of these. 30 bucks, 35 bucks, under 30 bucks, lofts, nice apartments. Goddamn, this is Canadian dollars, by the way. This has got to be some of the best prices in a large city on this side of the world, and they're really nice too. Now, in terms of everyday life, I found that in Mexico, affordability really changes from one place to the next. The locals just simply know where to go to get a deal. You can find a bougie $7 latte out here, no problem. And you can also find a solid $2 coffee in the right place. You just gotta know where to look. But now, overall thoughts, I think Guadalajara has to be one of the most livable cities on this side of the world right now. Affordable, safe, in the right places, lots to do, and amazingly friendly people. And you know what? I've been studying Spanish for almost a year now, but I barely needed it in Guadalajara because everybody speaks English. Well, not everybody, but most people speak English. That was crazy to me. I was like, wow. Do you guys remember years ago how everyone was talking about Medellin and how it was a super magical place, and now it's basically overrun with tourists and going through a huge crisis and change? Okay, well, let's be straight. Like, Medellin isn't that bad as all these YouTubers make it out to be, especially these days. It's crazy what's happening out there. If you go, it's not that bad, I promise you that. But this is that same situation, but it's the early days. Guadalajara hasn't had that massive boom where it's getting name dropped by other travelers constantly. Like, I frequented hostels all over this side of the world, and I don't think it was mentioned once. I guess I may be a part of the problem after this video, but I have to call it how it is. This is an amazing city, and I will 100% be going back here. And also, I'm gonna consider living here for a bit. I'm back in February, and my plans are pretty much already set. As you can probably tell, I had a great time. I met great people. So if you ever get a chance to stop by, make sure you take it. I'm gonna wrap the video up here. Make sure to subscribe, as I'm about to drop videos where I hit Mexico City and Guatemala. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Book that trip, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.